Washington, D.C. had $1 billion stolen from its own budget. Federal funds withheld by the Trump administration while city services struggled to operate. Congresswoman Yassamin Ansari calls it outrageous, and she doesn't hold back. She's calling out what she calls a dictatorship in action, and the stakes are enormous for the residents of our nation's capital. Here's what you need to know.
For what purpose does Ms. Ansari seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment on the desk.
Will the clerk please report the amendment?
An amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 5103 as offered by Ms. Ansari of Arizona.
Okay. Without objection, the amendment is considered as read. I reserve a point of order. Ms. Ansari is recognized for 5 minutes to explain her amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Earlier this year, the Trump administration and congressional Republicans unilaterally withheld $1 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars from D.C. that is part of the city's local government budget. I'll repeat, these funds are all D.C. raised revenue. A Senate-passed fix has been sitting on Speaker Johnson's desk since March 18th. It is outrageous that this city is micromanaged to such a degree by the federal government, unlike any other American city. And on top of that, the administration can apparently decide to cut or withhold an enormous portion of the city's budget just because it feels like it. This is an issue of fairness, justice, and keeping the government's word to over 700,000 Americans who are denied full and equal rights. How can the Trump administration literally steal $1 billion from D.C. without any justification or resource? Imagine if this were Phoenix or Los Angeles or Las Vegas or Dallas. I'm the former vice mayor of Phoenix, Arizona, the 5th largest city in the country, and I can tell you that a $1 billion withholding of budget from a city government has massive implications. It should be no different for Washington, D.C. While this is the city's capital, it is also home to hundreds of thousands of hardworking people. What might actually have an impact on keeping people safe and healthy in our nation's capital? That would be the $1 billion of withheld funding for critical programs that keep this city running. Funds that are DC's, not the federal government's money. But Donald Trump obviously believes that this city is his personal playground. He has deployed the U.S. military to its streets because he wants to feel powerful, because he is a dictator. And he wants to deflect from the fact that the biggest criminal in this city is himself, sitting and occupying the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. My colleagues have mentioned D.C.'s crime rate is at a 30-year low. So what does Trump have our nation's service members, many of whom who've been taken from their jobs, from their families as reservists, what are they doing here in Washington, D.C.? He has them picking up trash, sitting around bored, directing traffic. I've seen this firsthand with my own eyes. It's been mentioned. The way it sounds from my colleagues, they're more worried about their own personal safety here. I can tell you I feel very safe here, walking around my Navy Yard neighborhood. But our president is more interested in photo ops and seeming like a tough strongman than he is about spending government resources on the programs and policies that keep us safe, whether that's investing in counter-narcotics programs or the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. He has literally redirected counterterrorism and human trafficking resources away from their intended purpose and toward non-violent immigration offenses. So that's why I hope this committee can come together in a bipartisan manner to fix this grave mistake that is costing Washington, D.C. Making this right will make this city and region safer, stronger, and better for everyone. To not do so would be a violation of our responsibilities and a stain on this committee and Congress. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. I'll recognize myself. And again, I support restoring that funding. I don't believe it was Donald Trump that took the funding. I think it was Congress that took the funding, either inadvertently or whatever. So I support restoring the funding, but I cannot support this amendment because it would strike the text of the underlying bill, which enacts President Trump's executive order on making the District of Columbia safe and beautiful. So I oppose your amendment, but I support the objective. And again, I have asked that that be restored in the as one of the anomalies if we go the CR route, which I would assume that's the route we're going to go. And that's something that in the meetings I've had with both Mayor Bowser and Middleton, they've both requested that, obviously. And I think I think that should be restored. Now, I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, not everyone on the committee, but I support, again, what you're doing, but the amendment affects the underlying bill, so that's why I oppose the amendment. Does any other member seek recognition? I'll recognize the ranking member, then Mr. Biggs.
Thank you. I just want to thank Ms. Ansari for the amendment, and I think, Mr. Chairman, I think you've acknowledged that this was a mistake made by the Congress, by the majority, by the Speaker, and so this is an opportunity to fix a real horrific mistake that is hurting the district. To lose that amount of money, $1 billion in funding to provide for services is completely irresponsible, and Congress has an opportunity right now, this committee has an opportunity right now to actually fix the issue it's created. And so I think this amendment does that. I want to thank Congresswoman Ansari for doing that. This is another example of why Congress should not be the super city council for Washington, D.C. It cannot continue its efforts to try to take control over the district. Now, Speaker Johnson and the House, by the way, have refused to enact a simple fix. They have not moved forward in fixing this enormous mistake. Instead, D.C. today and across, in most days, just hear any of the debates, they want to use the district as a political prop. This bill froze $1 billion from the D.C. budget, threatening city services, and I do commend the community and the D.C. government for moving forward, even with this horrific cut and mistake. Now, we don't need National Guardsmen picking up trash if we just let D.C. use their own money to fund normal city services. We should fix this issue, which the amendment does, and I want to thank Ms. Ansari, and I urge a yes vote.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And really what I'm doing, I've got some unanimous consents. So this one's entitled, Murdered Congressional Intern's Mom Says Trump Should Take Over Washington, D.C. Trump's D.C. crime crackdown overwhelmingly benefits black Americans as homicides hit zero. This one from February 12, 2024. Yes, prosecuting and arresting criminals would have immediate impact on D.C.'s crime. This one from just the other day. Trump's D.C. crime crackdown nets murder suspects, sex criminals, illegal immigrants, and more in one night. This one. Trump's D.C. crime operation puts safety of families first as arrests surge past 1,800. This one from a couple days ago. D.C. wards 7 and 8 see drop in crime during federal law enforcement surge. This one from 8 days ago. Trump's Labor Day crime crackdown in D.C. nets 70 arrests, including illegal aliens. This one. This was from last November. Police arrest man suspected in a dozen sex assaults in D.C. And that's where I'll stop for now, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, so ordered. Okay. Any other members seek recognition on the amendment? Seeing none, the question is now on the Ansari amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it, and the amendment is not agreed to.
Request a recorded vote, please.
Recorded vote is ordered by the ranking members.
Congresswoman Yassamin Ansari didn't hold back on the House floor. She called out the withholding of $1 billion from Washington, D.C.'s local budget, money raised by the city itself, framing it as an attack on fairness, democracy, and the people who live there. Unlike other American cities, D.C. is uniquely micromanaged by Congress, making this more than just a budgetary issue. It's about justice, accountability, and the rights of over 700,000 residents. Ansari emphasized that this funding isn't abstract. It powers programs that keep the city safe, healthy, and functional. From public safety and counter-narcotics initiatives to essential city services, these cuts have real consequences for real people. She highlighted the disconnect between political theater and effective governance, pointing to the deployment of federal forces in D.C. as a photo op rather than a true safety measure. The debate also revealed tension in Congress. Some lawmakers argued the funding issue originated in Congress, not the executive branch. But Ansari framed it as a moral test. Will Congress act in the interest of D.C. residents or continue to treat the city as a political pawn? This isn't just a local issue. It's a lesson in power, oversight, and accountability. Ensuring cities have the resources they need protects communities and upholds the principles of democracy. If you want to stay informed on how political decisions impact your communities, understand congressional debates, and get thoughtful analysis beyond the headlines, like and subscribe to Left Lens.